Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. How you doing? Today I'm going to learn what Americans need to know to drive in Europe. I like this subject. It's a fun subject, driving in Europe compared to America. It's also a very funny subject. I know you guys like it a lot too. Mostly just to shit on American drivers, which hey, that's fun. We can do that. I'm not sure if that's what this video is doing or not. I can't really tell from the title, what Americans need to know about driving in Europe. They need to know that they can't act like morons. I don't know. It's from Around the World with Aaron. Go check out the channel. Link down below. I'm very interested. Let's go.
If you finally decided to take that driving vacation in Europe, there's some things you really need to know to make your trip a little bit less stressful. While it's not that much different from driving in America, there are some key differences to know about, but if you can drive in America, you'll do just fine in Europe.
Wow, well I can tell this video was made by an American, not a European. This is actually kind of a relief. Okay, so this is like actually just straight up educational. It's not critiquing American drivers so much as it is just actually letting me know what you need to know. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's do it.
Unless you're going to be going to the British Isles, you get to drive on the side of the road that you're used to driving on.
That is an interesting point because for whatever reason growing up, and I don't know if all Americans have this misconception, but I thought that like almost every country drove on the left. At least in Europe. I assumed it was all like Britain. I kind of viewed it as like, Fahrenheit versus Celsius or metric versus imperial, where it's like, oh yeah, the whole rest of the world, they drive on the left. For whatever reason, we drive on the right. But no, it's actually the right side is the most common.
They drive on the right side of the road in Europe, just like we do.
Which is extremely fortunate.
Take time to learn what all of the signs are. It's really important.
Well, the nice thing is that I think, is it in the European Union that the signs are all relatively similar?
To understand what the signs are.
And they don't have like language on them for the most part.
They are different from the signs we have, from the road signs to the speed limit signs. And some of these signs have meaning beyond just the words on the sign. The way I prepared for my first European trip was to go to the Wikipedia entry on European road signs and just kind of study them a little bit. Look through the countries you're
at least, a lot of the signs actually do
European road signs and just kind of study them a little.
Like, thank God stop is pretty universal, huh? And yield. That's really convenient. And kind of surprising. I'm surprised how similar the stop signs are to the American ones. That's really great. That's an important one. Stop. But I'm wondering, what is the actual qualifications you need to drive over in Europe? Can I really just go over there and drive? It's up to me to go on the Wikipedia and quiz myself on the signs? That seems kind of crazy. But okay.
Bit. Look through the countries you're going to go to and just understand them. You're not going to remember all of it, but at least you'll be familiarized with the different signs.
You're not going to remember all of it, but hey, you probably won't die.
And the different rules. On the A roads, which is their equivalent of essentially an interstate or a highway, the big signs do not tell you which direction you're traveling in. They basically tell you the big city at the end
Dusseldorf
of the road that you're traveling towards. So you have to understand the cities that you're traveling towards so you know which direction you're going to go whenever you get onto a road. Take some time to get to know what the right-of-way rules are over there, especially for roundabouts. In general...
Wait, does that change?
Their right-of-way rules aren't much different from ours. The person on the...
Is a roundabout not exactly the same everywhere in the world? That would be really inconvenient.
Right has the right-of-way unless the sign says otherwise. But there are some differences. I'm not going to get into the details here. There's plenty of really good resources available to you online. Google is your friend here. There's even some places that have quizzes that you can take if you're the kind of person that likes quizzes. I know that these things can seem like a lot, can feel a little bit overwhelming, but trust me, it's not that complicated. It's no more complicated than it is here. You just need to take some time, familiarize yourself with the rules so that you don't find yourself in trouble over there. I put some links in the description for sites that you can access this information for the countries you plan on driving to. And while we're talking about rules, the left lane is for
That's a good one.
passing only. You do not ride in the left lane unless you are actively passing a vehicle to the right of you. This is a rule, this is the expectation, and this is how they drive. And the speed limit
It's kind of how we're supposed to drive too. Just nobody got the memo.
is not always obvious. You need to understand there are certain instances where the speed limit isn't posted by a sign with a number on it. For example, when driving into or out of a town, there is a rectangular sign that tells you are entering or leaving a city. When you drive past
And it's like 55 kilometer per hour when you're outside. Isn't that like the standard?
that sign, the speed limit is now 50 kilometers
50.
per hour, unless otherwise posted. That is just a rule that everybody understands. You will not necessarily see a sign telling you that the speed limit changed to 50. Also, you have to understand what the default speeds for specific types of roads are. The default speed for many roads is
See, over here in America, you're always going to get a speed limit sign. Which I mean, that's interesting. On one hand, it would be convenient to have just a default speed, just so that, you know, when in doubt, it's like, you know, you can kind of use context clues and be like, it's probably just the default speed. That would be nice. But also having a sign there is, you know, it makes it pretty easy.
130 or 120 kilometers an hour or 80 kilometers an hour, and it's not always posted. You just have to know what it is based on the type of road you're on. And then there will be further signs restricting speed on those roads
I'd be nervous to go up to those high of speeds without seeing a sign telling me I could.
or giving you guidance under certain weather conditions or traffic conditions. A key thing to understand is that
That's a really beautiful landscape.
it is only on
I'm
the
trying not to be distracted.
Autobahn, i.e. the A roads in Germany, where there is not a speed limit. No other countries in Europe have this allowance to drive as fast as you choose. So when you see this sign, it doesn't mean there's no speed limit. What it means
It's the
is that
famous sign. That's the sign that the best German disc golfer in the world, Simon Lizotte, one of the best disc golfers in the world, period, used as inspiration for his stamp on his discs.
it ends all of the previously signed restrictions. You are now at the default speed limit for the road that you're on. And one final rule to be aware of is there's no
No right on red. That would actually throw me off a lot. I could easily see myself. See, I have pretty bad ADD, so like I could just see myself kind of thinking about too many things at once, and I would forget there's no right on red.
such thing as a right turn
That would be bad. Well, I mean, I guess in theory I wouldn't probably cause an accident, but people would be like, "What the hell are you doing?"
on red in Europe. That is an American invention, and it's a great one, but it doesn't exist over there. And hey, if
It's a great one except for pedestrians. When there's a lot of pedestrians, it's not such a great rule.
you're enjoying this video and want to see more of our travel-related videos, please click the subscribe button below. It really helps
Maybe that's why it's only in America.
the channel. All right, so let's talk about speed cameras. I have never seen anybody get pulled over on the side of the road for speeding in Europe. However, I have gotten multiple speeding tickets in
Oh,
Europe.
I didn't realize you never get pulled over.
The way they find speeders in Europe is by
That's the number one reason you're getting pulled over. That's almost like, I bet you 75% of all people who are pulled over in America, it's for speeding. So it's like, that's actually a really efficient, that helps improve the efficiency of the police a lot if you can get those out of the way. The police can focus on other things.
speed cameras. These cameras are ubiquitous. Pretty much any town you drive through will have multiple ones down the main thoroughfare, and they will take your picture, and you will get
Look at
a
this
ticket in
landscape.
the mail, often months later, and you won't even remember why.
They don't know where I live in Indiana.
These cameras
They're never going to find me with that ticket.
are on all types of roads, regardless of the size. One nice thing is that these tickets aren't particularly expensive. I think one of my tickets was 15 euros.
And don't some European countries do it based off your income, which is kind of cool?
The other one was 30 euros. I was able to pay at least one of them online. Another one I had to send a money order, so that was a little bit inconvenient. And if you are over there in a rental car,
Do they take Bitcoin?
your rental company will charge you a $25 processing fee to send that ticket to you. As far as I can tell, a speeding ticket over there does not get reported to your American insurance company or go on your American driving
Oh,
record.
that's an interesting point.
But just be careful and trust me, there's a good chance you're going to get a ticket, but it makes for a nice souvenir. Gasoline is expensive in Europe, but the roads are very nice. And unlike in America, diesel fuel costs about the same as regular unleaded gasoline. One thing to be aware of is you have to understand the words.
Well, as of recently, let me see when this video came out. 1 year ago. I mean, as of recently here in America, it's been interesting to see that difference between diesel. You know, we do it in per gallon. So a gallon of diesel, a gallon of gasoline. They've been like, at some points, diesel has been cheaper from what I've seen, which is really crazy.
For the type of gasoline that you're going to be using in the car that you rent. If you have a diesel car, you need to know what the local word for diesel is. Otherwise, you may mess that up. Many of the gasoline pumps are self-service and are credit card use only. A lot of them require a chip and PIN card, which is a really difficult thing to find from an American bank.
I'm surprised they're credit card only. Especially, I mean, he's clearly in Germany, I believe, and they like to use cash a lot, so credit card only at the pump.
And what that is you insert the chip and you have a pin attached to it. A lot of American cards are what they call chip and signature, and often you have difficulty using the gas pumps there. So if you don't have a chip and PIN card, you're going to need to make sure that you can find gas stations that are attached to a convenience store with a cashier so that you can go inside to pay. And another
This is freaking beautiful.
expense that we need to discuss is toll. There's two different types of tolls you'll encounter in Europe. Some countries like Austria and Switzerland require you to buy a toll sticker, which allows you access to their highways. In Austria, you can buy a tourist sticker that's relatively inexpensive and it's good for a couple of weeks. In Switzerland, however, they only sell annual stickers. So if you want to drive in Switzerland, you're going to need to
Are you serious? You have to buy a whole year's worth?
buy the sticker for the entire year.
What's that
For
cost?
2023, the price of that sticker is around $45. So if you're going to be there for a week, that's really not too bad. But if you're going to be there for the day, that might change your plan. Germany
That would suck to change your plan. They gotta rethink that. If that's cutting down on any tourism, because people are like, I don't want to spend the day in Switzerland because I'd have to buy a year's worth of tolls. That's kind of a mistake, I feel like.
Germany has no tolls, but their gas tends to cost a little bit more.
Oh.
And in France and Italy, they have more what we're used to in America, where they have toll booths on specific roads. The tolls can get rather expensive. To be prepared and understand which lanes take cash and which lanes take credit.
Tolls can go anywhere here in America from like 75 cents to like, I feel like they can get up to like $3. It's pretty expensive. I don't know. Maybe they even go higher.
Make sure that you have a credit card that's going to work with them. We have had problems in the past where our credit card didn't work. On our most recent trip, however, we had good luck with cards that allowed for tap to pay. But we always make sure we do have cash on hand in the event that a credit card doesn't work and we have to find a way to pay with cash. In any case, I would recommend that the first couple of times you go through a toll, you find the toll booth that has a cashier. That way, in the event you have a credit card that won't work for you, you can at least pay cash. Many of the parking lots in Europe are pay lots, and they tend to have self-service parking kiosks that you have to walk up to and pay to get a ticket for a specific amount of time. Again, make sure you have cash to pay for this. If you don't have a credit card that'll work,
No, now you need cash.
normally these require a chip and PIN card, so if you don't have
never
one,
mind.
make sure you have enough cash to pay for your parking. Another thing to
Is he in the Black Forest? Is that where he is?
be aware of is that they tend to drive fast on small, windy roads.
Huh. I was going to say these roads are incredibly windy. I guess that's just because it's mountainous. I'm not used to that. Not a whole lot of mountains over here in Indiana. Not a lot. So the roads pretty much just go straight.
Like driving fast. I like windy roads. I'm not comfortable driving as fast as they do on these
Is this a two-way road?
small windy roads. But no worries, you don't need to push yourself faster or pull over or anything like that. They'll find a time to pass you, and they'll pass you. Drive the speed you're comfortable to drive, and everything will
Are you allowed to pass on this road right here?
work out just fine for you. Watch out for cows. Really, watch out for cows. There's a lot of cows, and sometimes they end up in the middle of the road. Make sure
Kind of like the equivalent of deer over here in America, I guess. Except this will absolutely flatten your car, huh? The cow probably would be fine. Might not even notice. Look at that thing.
you understand the rules
What are cows doing just out there crossing the street? Why did the cow cross the street?
regarding international
Get the other side, I guess.
driving permits. Most countries in Europe allow an American to drive in their
Oh,
country.
here we go.
However, some do require you to have an international driver's permit. You can get these relatively inexpensively. We normally get
Wait, you just have to pay? You don't even have to take a test?
one at AAA. Many people don't bother to get one. I think the only time anybody's going to ask to see one is if you're in an accident or if you get stopped for some sort of moving violation or something. But it's still best to just get one. They're not expensive, and that way it won't be a problem in the event that you need to have it. And one final thing that you need to know about driving in Europe is that it is the best way to get off the beaten path, away from the normal tourist areas, and go see really interesting and unique sights and attractions. If you want to learn more about driving in Europe, check out this other video about reasons why you should rent a car on your European vacation. Hopefully.
Interesting. That was a really great video. That was very informative. Go check out his channel, Around the World with Aaron. I really enjoyed that. And, you know, it was an American doing it. So, you know, if a European was doing it, it would be like, what Americans need to know about driving in Europe? Please don't. Please just stay home. Okay? We don't want to deal with you. All right. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow.